We have team coverage both in the air and on the ground of this breaking story. Let's start with Rachel Menitoff, who's live downtown with what we've learned from police so far. Rachel.
Vic and Denise, we're at the corner of Light and Redwood Streets. We've been told that this is the media staging area. We are expecting to hear from police and fire at some point this afternoon with an update about this suspicious van. Officers responded to 100 East Pratt Street just after 9 this morning after someone called in and said they smelled leaking gas coming from a van parked inside the T. Rowe Price building. According to police, that van has 1,000 gallons of gasoline. A 4-block radius around East Pratt Street has been evacuated. The streets to avoid are Pratt, Calvert, Lombard, and Light Streets. The evacuations and street closures created a gridlock downtown with traffic backed up for miles. Meanwhile, the police, fire, and ATF continue to stay on scene as part of the investigation. Several people tell WJZ that around lunchtime they were inside their office building when the alarm went off. At first, they thought it was just a drill, but quickly learned that it was more serious.
It looks like a ghost town. I mean, all of the streets are evacuated. There's just like a few little croppings of police gathered together on a few of the different streets, but other than that, there's really no one around.
The mayor released a statement saying, in part, after several hours of investigating a suspicious vehicle, no bomb was detected. We are currently in the process of conducting precautionary sweeps in an effort to ensure public safety. These sweeps are expected to take several hours. We are asking everyone to remain clear of the evacuated area. Once again, people are asked to avoid Pratt, Calvert, Lombard, and Light Streets. We'll be back out here live at 4:30 with the latest updates. Reporting live downtown, I'm Rachel Menitoff for WJZ.
All right, thank you, Rachel. Now let's go live to Stetson Miller. He has been talking to people who have been forced to evacuate the area. Stetson?
Hey, Denise. Well, that investigation is continuing behind me here. We're also on Redwood and Light Streets, but there were some in this area were disrupted. Some people, as you said, had to evacuate while other buildings were shut down, so it disrupted their workday. There were also a lot of motorists who were inconvenienced by a lot of traffic congestion in this area today. Traffic was crawling throughout Monday on streets like Pratt and Light, as well as other roads in the downtown area, while officials conducted their investigation into a suspicious vehicle in a parking garage on Pratt Street. Motorists slowly drove through the area, and it took several minutes just to move one block.
This traffic's crazy right now, man.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad today.
Yeah, we came from the mall over there right next door to where the incident, whole thing's going on. So now we're just stuck out here in this crazy traffic.
Gotcha. How long have you been sitting here?
About 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And we were just about a block over. Yeah, it's crazy.
You all didn't answer any questions. The council president and I are so grateful to all of these folk who took their time to really go through that garage to make sure everything was stable and safe. Colonel.
Yep. Good afternoon. About 10:40 this morning, we get a call. The fire department gets a call for suspicious vehicle inside the garage. When they get there, they see some issues with the vehicle. They call the police. We initiate a response, a unified command response in reference to what we saw inside the vehicle. After taking our due diligence and getting everyone out of the area, we then went in and examined the vehicle with our robot and found that the devices that we thought could have possibly been hazardous were just used to basically steal diesel fuel. So the van was loaded with diesel fuel, and it had some cables running to it that made it look like that it was probably going to be something more serious. So as a precaution, we are running through all the rest of the garages. We're almost finished, and then we will open up the downtown area.
Colonel, to be clear, there was no ill intent, as far as you know, from this individual. He or she was trying to store stolen product?
Yes. As far as we know we have searched the van's owner, and we're at that location right now trying to find out what the issue was, why they parked it there. We have video of the incident when it occurred, but we believe right now they were just stealing diesel fuel.
So you haven't spoken to the driver?
I'm sorry.
Do you know who the driver is?
No, we have not. Still investigating.
Do you have an idea of the amount of diesel fuel in the vehicle?
It's not a lot. It's but there was two bins that we really couldn't see in because they had blacked out the windows of the van, so we couldn't see in it until we got up close enough. And then when the bomb technicians realized that there was wiring running back to it, they made entry into the van and saw that it was a rigged device to pump the diesel fuel out and then to take it and sell it somewhere else.
So it wasn't 1,000 gallons then? Was it 1,000 gallons?
We don't know how much. It was two huge bins in the back of the vehicle.
And was it parked in the garage, or where was it parked?
Yes, parked the second floor of the garage.
Any idea why it was in that garage?
I have no idea.
That's got to be hazardous to have that type of chemical inside of a building of any kind.
Well, the diesel fuel isn't easily as ignitable as other fuels, so we still believe they were just using it to steal diesel fuel.
Do you know where it was stolen from?
No.
At what point are the streets going to open?
Very shortly. We're almost finished our precautionary sweeps, and probably within the next 15 to 20 minutes, we'll get the all clear to open everything up.
Have you made contact with the driver?
No.
Do you know you're investigating the residence of the driver?
We are.
Where is he in the city?
Still under investigation.
Can you explain Customs and Border Protection's role in this investigation?
Well, we did a unified command. So as you know, we have some very elite visitors coming to the city for the Republican convention at the end of the week. So we have to make sure that we do everything according to Secret Service, Capitol Police. We had fire department. We had a unified command, and everybody did an outstanding job. The fire department, MTA is here, ATF is here, and I apologize if I miss anybody. Capitol Police. And anyone else that we needed was part of the unified command.
Did the event that's scheduled for Thursday this week involving the president's arrival in Baltimore have anything to do with the way this incident was investigated?
No, not at all.
Anything else, guys?
It was a van, like a 15-passenger van.
Can you confirm 2 drums were found inside?
It was 2 bins. I don't know if they were drums or. I was told they were plastic bins, but I have not seen the inside of them.
Bins with diesel fuel?
Yes.
And it's probably less than the original estimate of what, 1,000?
We still don't know how much is in there. It's going to be up to our arson unit is investigating it, so they're examining the vehicle now with the crime lab, and then they'll tow it out of the garage and take it back to the crime lab bay and continue to investigate.
Are the garages still closed?
Yes, for the next few minutes.
Thank you, guys.
I don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, there you have it. That was obviously the command for the Baltimore Fire Department telling us exactly what the situation was. Not nearly as bad as we thought earlier. Earlier, thought that would maybe as much as 1,000 gallons of gasoline there. We now know it's diesel fuel, that it was being stolen apparently, and that there were 2 bins with some electrical wires used to siphon diesel fuel from various sources.
Right, but when this all happened early this morning, people smelled fuel.
Sure.
They looked in the windows, they saw drums, they saw cables, so they did the correct thing, and they evacuated the area. And our Captain Cindy Thrift has been in Chopper 13 all afternoon over the area and has watched as this necessary evacuation, precautionary evacuation, caused tremendous backup downtown.
Hi, thank you, Denise. Yes, we have been over this scene all day today, and from our vantage point, we really haven't seen a whole lot of change in police activity. A very large area still remains closed. It does look like a small portion of the southbound lanes in Light Street has just been reopened. We also have seen some people with dogs sweeping Pratt Street along the Inner Harbor. Currently, the congestion around this area is getting very high, though.
Of course, one of the reasons they had such a large response is because later in the week you have a number of Republican leaders coming to town, including the President of the United States,
yes.
on Thursday. And of course, the Unified Command was activated, which includes the FBI, the Secret Service, the Capitol Police, anyone on the federal authority, the ATF, who might have an interest in this particular situation.
Right.
And of course, thank goodness, it is a lot less severe than we thought it was going to be.
Right, and there were a number of huge office buildings that were evacuated,
Sure.
T. Rowe Price, the Gallery, et cetera, all those major buildings downtown. But it was done for the right reason, and tomorrow it appears as though life will resume as usual.
Certainly so, and of course they're going to give the all clear, we understand, within about 15 or 20 minutes, but that doesn't mean we're going to have an all clear in terms of the traffic.
No.
It is still a nightmare in downtown. Let's check in with Christy Breslin and see how this is impacting traffic in the area right now. Christy.
Well, unfortunately, it's having a major impact on traffic. As we had told you, we have a laundry list of streets that are still closed right now. And those streets are going to include Pratt Street, Calvert, Lombard, Light Street, Guilford Avenue, and East Baltimore. So they did say it'll open in about 15 minutes, but the delays are probably still going to be there for quite some time. Best bet would be you could take Eastern Avenue and head up the Jones Falls Expressway. You could even take MLK Boulevard and head to the Jones Falls Expressway, or 895 in the Beltway, and avoid the city altogether. But we'll continue to bring you up to date as the situation does develop. Denise and Vic?
All right, thank you very
Christy.
much.
All right, we're going to go back to Rachel Minitoff. She's downtown, and I know you've just been listening to that news conference. Rachel?
Hi, Denise. Yes, we just wrapped up a press conference with Mayor Jack Young and the fire chief. They tell us that they are beginning to wrap up the investigation into this suspicious van. They told us that the van was loaded with at least 2 bins filled with diesel fuel. They can't tell us exactly how much fuel was inside those 2 bins, but there were 2 bins inside of a van parked here at 100 East Pratt Street in the parking garage of the T. Rowe Price building. They tell us that the streets over here will reopen shortly. They're doing one last sweep of the area. They have help from their bomb squad, police, fire, and they're doing one last sweep of the area before they reopen the streets here in downtown. I did ask the police commissioner whether he had made contact with the driver of the van, and they told us they have not yet identified who the driver of that van is. We'll continue to monitor the latest developments, and I'll send it back to you in the studio.